What's good, everybody? My name is Brandon McCollum, otherwise known as emcee, and this is Nice Minds. I am joined by my dude, Ty Davis. What's good, my dude?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. We have known each other for a minute, so how I know you through IPR. We met in orientation, actually. Like it was very serendipitous, I feel, the way we met. They did this little awkward thing where they're like, just walk around and talk to whoever's by you.
I hate things like that.
I do too, man. I fucking hate that shit. I mean, as introverts, we fucking can't stand that shit. So, yeah, I mean, at first I think I talked to Kaya because Kaya was like right by me. I saw you next, and I noticed that you had a Maple Grove hat on, and I'm like, oh shit, did you go to Maple Grove? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, what year did you graduate? You're like 2013, and I was like, oh shit, I was supposed to graduate 2003, so you're like 10 years younger than me. But we didn't see each other until, actually, I think it was like the first day of class. I think it was like outside of class. I ran into you again, and I'm like, oh shit, I met you at orientation.
Oh yeah, Maple Grove, dude.
Yep. And then I started at Nice Entertainment, and you were like literally the first artist to be a part of that, which was super dope. But give everybody a background. How did you get started with music?
Man, it was a long time ago. I basically started out writing poetry, started rapping over like YouTube beats and shit. When I first started, I was rapping in an Xbox headset, just basically in free software, doing what I could. I was recording stuff. I went to Mankato before IPR. I was recording songs in my dorm room on this mic that I'm using right now. And then I was
dope.
just like, dude, I started skipping class and stuff, and I was like, my real passion at this point in life is music, so I'm gonna go to IPR, try and pursue that. And then that's kind of how I ended up there. Got into production, engineering.
Yeah, because you grew up with music all around. I mean, your grandfather was Big Chick Huntsberry.
Yes, sir.
Prince's bodyguard. Talk about that, man. Talk about growing up like in a Prince family.
Well, he died before I was born, so I never met my grandpa. I never met Prince. Like, I got invited to maybe a couple of those like pajama parties and stuff, which I regrettably never went to. Yeah, because you just kind of think someone like Prince is just gonna be around forever, you know, like I'll get another chance to go to these parties and see him live, and then he just died one day abruptly, and it's like, fuck, now I can never go to these parties.
Yeah.
You know, but as far as Prince and the family and stuff, I hear a lot of stories about him, but I never got to really experience any of that, so it's kind of like old urban legend, if you will. My grandpa's book just came out, so I just read that, and there was a lot of stories and shit of him and Prince.
That's crazy. So your grandpa wrote that, or your grandma wrote that?
My grandpa wrote it when he was still alive, and then my grandma, and my aunt Becky got it published like a few months ago.
That's dope. Is it on like Amazon or anything?
Yep, it's on Amazon. That's where I bought it.
I just thought that was super dope because I've always been a huge Prince fan. And yeah, man, I mean, so we met, and then we connected right away, and I don't even remember how it went, but I heard your music, and it was like early music. I mean, how long had you been rapping at the time that I met you? Because I met you early 2014.
I mean, not that long. Not like taking it super serious at that point either, because like once I started going to IPR, or at least right before that, is when I got more serious.
Yeah, because I remember hearing Champagne and I can't even think of the title now.
Champagne and Confetti. Yeah, we made a new version. That was dope, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Because I remember hearing Champagne and Confetti. I think that was like the first track that I heard, and I was like, oh shit, this is rough, but you got potential. Because that hook was so fucking catchy. I was like, this hook is money. And I remember I had a bunch of beats. I mean, because right before I started at IPR, I made 50 beats, a website, and had business cards. And I had the idea to start Nice Entertainment. And I think out of that 50 beats, I don't know what made me choose this one beat, but I was like, yo, you should take that song and spit it to this beat. And I remember suggesting that. And it just turned out to be money. Like the way that the hook worked with the beat, and we got Thad on there. And then I I want to say that was like really the incubation of Nice Guy Entertainment, bro. Was that song?
That was super fire. It ended up being better than the original version
It was
too.
super dope. So yeah, I mean, we recorded that pretty quick after we started at IPR, and then we did your first show opening up for Cess Crew.
Dude, I was so nervous for that.
I bet.
That was crazy because that kind of started everything for like our whole journey, you know?
Right.
That was really dope.
Yeah, it was a super dope show.
Even though I butchered it.
Dude, no, you didn't. I mean, even looking at the old footage, because I have a recording of part of it. I don't know if I have the whole thing, but I mean, you could just tell that you had the natural ability, that you had the natural gift. I mean, you were really shy, like you could tell you were hella nervous, but at the same time, and I think you did fumble on a few lyrics, but at the same time, like you really killed it. Like you killed it on like all of my backup vocals. You killed it on the songs that we did together and shit. And man, that was dope, man. And then so yeah, we started having meetings for Nice Guy Entertainment, and got you were one of the first artists involved, and you brought in two other artists, AP Lifted being one of them, and then we also did I consider 2015 as like one of the most epic years that I've ever had. Like I after with everything that I've been through with NGE, for a while I was like nothing's gonna compare to 2015. Like everything pales in comparison to, like, I was just comparing every fucking thing to 2015 because
Word.
we were on fire when we first started, man. Like that fucking the beginning of that year, I think, was when AP Lifted Austin first performed. I want to say it was like that February. It might have even been like 6 years ago as we're recording
Was
this.
that at the little arcade place?
Yeah, it was at this
Yeah.
this arcade slash studio slash live.
What was it? 33rd Realm,
33rd
right?
Realm.
That place was popping.
It was fucking sick, man. It was owned by my dude MC Rents, and he, I already had a relationship built with him. He was the one that got us the Cess Crew show as well. So it's crazy that a lot of your earlier shows were through that dude, and you probably don't even remember him. But yeah, so we did a bunch of shows there, but that venue was dope because it was this little arcade. It was right in North St. Paul. It was right by the group home that I happened to work at, like literally like a mile and a half. And I would, come after work. I wouldn't even have to like miss work, and I would just come after work and do the shows and shit. And then he ended up having to fold it, but right before he folded it, he actually asked me if I wanted to co-own it. I don't know if I ever told you about that.
Oh, really? No, I never heard about that.
I didn't have any money to like dump into it or anything, so I was like, that's flattering, man, and I would love to, but I can't do that
It's
right now.
too much to take on.
Right. Yeah, so he ended up folding that place.
I remember some super dope shows there, dude. Like,
oh yeah,
those competitions and shit with Sacred and Darren Sippity were in there, and there was just packed with people from the front to the back with the little windows behind the stage. That was super dope. Me and you did one like during the day when there was barely anyone in there, and it was a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was hard to get people out there because it's like on the other side of fucking of the cities. A lot of people from the Minneapolis area don't want to go to St. Paul. It's just like a thing around here that people just don't want to go to that side.
That's super true. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is weird. But I mean, yeah, that was epic times. And then after that, I mean, we were doing at least 2 shows a month, I want to say, with NGE. I mean, we were busy when we first started. Talk about the formation of Bottle Kids.
I mean, as you know, we were just working on shit together all the time. We became best friends working on music, doing stuff with NGE, and then we just kind of figured we might as well just make it a thing, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Like, make it an official group. So then we did that and just ran with it, started doing shows together. At first we would still do a lot of shows just doing like solo songs and whatnot, and then we started making more songs together, and eventually we had whole sets, and it was just kind of kept the momentum going, you know?
Yeah, it was a supernatural progression, and you guys were just on fire with opening for big names. I mean, you guys were busy. So who were some of the big names that you opened for? I remember Warren G. I remember
Yeah,
Kirko
Warren G.
Bangs. Who
Oh yeah, I
else?
forgot about that. Um, G Easy, Gucci Mane, uh, Rob Banks, Ski Mask, Puya, Fat Nick. Oh, lots of big underground guys. Xavier Wolf.
It's a lot, and most of them were through CLM Presents, right?
A lot of them were through him, yeah. And then I don't know. We just ended up meeting a lot of different promoters through different networking. I don't know. Just met a lot of different promoters, and they all liked us because we were professional. With how we dealt with everything, selling tickets, bringing people, and once they like you, they offer you all these shows.
It was impressive, man. And then at the same time, we worked on your album Arteries for a minute, because I mean, you started Arteries, I want to say, like the first year that we met, or that we started really
Mm-hmm.
working, probably 2015, late 2014. You started that album, and you were recording like crazy for that. The other day I opened up, like, I have, I keep everything, and I have a whole archive of unreleased Ty Davis sessions. Like, I probably have like 20, 25, 30 of your sessions, bro, of just stuff that never ended up getting finished or coming out or whatever.
Oh wow,
Cause
that's
yeah,
crazy.
I mean, how many songs did you end up writing or like kind of creating during that process? It was like 50, wasn't it?
Definitely more than any of my other albums that I've ever done. Just because it was so long, there were so many different songs that were like in the folder that could potentially be on Arteries. You know what I mean? Because I ended up putting out 2 or 3 different albums between when I started Arteries to when that came out.
Yeah, I mean, you ended up finishing multiple projects before that album ever came out. Because I was gonna say
Mm-hmm.
that album took from start to finish like 3 years. Because I
Yeah,
mean,
for sure.
there was just a bunch of different setbacks, like life setbacks and creative setbacks, and just things that were in the way of that album getting done. And I still feel like that album was completely slept on. And I want everybody that's watching this or listening to this to go to any streaming service and play Ty Davis Arteries from start to finish, because that album, to me, like, I can listen to that album front to back.
You had a lot to do with that album too. We worked on that a lot together.
I had at least like 4 or 5 tracks on the final version that I at least co-produced or produced.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I remember having a lot of like ideas for that album as well. Like Bother, that was a dope one. We remade Stained Bother, because I remember like making that beat. Like, I literally took Stained, that track, and chopped it up and made a beat with it. I'm like, this is perfect for Ty Davis. Ty's gonna love this shit. And I sent that to you, and you're like, dude, this is dope. I actually love this song. And then we like, Aaron helped completely reconstruct the beat. I mean, like, live guitar. Justin Burke ended up singing the hook on that. We got my
Yeah, we
girlfriend's
got a
friend
cello too.
to be a viola.
Oh, viola.
I feel like it deserves to be up there with one of the better ones that's come out of the local scene. So Bottle Kids, you guys have been fucking, or I mean, before the pandemic, obviously the pandemic put a lot of damper on a lot of shit, but you guys were busy. You guys were putting out projects left and right. You guys recently landed a Jersey Shore placement. How did that go, bro?
Just through our publishing, dude. I didn't even really know when it was gonna be on or what show or what episode or whatever. And then my dad's girlfriend sent me this video that it was on the show. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
I would love to get something licensed. I've always wondered how that process works. So do you get paid every time the show airs then? How does that work?
I believe so. It takes like 6 months probably to get the royalties, so I won't see any of that for a while.
That's a slept on thing, is licensing.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I feel like that is how producers and artists need to try to make their money going forward.
Definitely one of the biggest ways. And like you said, a lot of people don't even try to do it.
Yep.
They just try to make money off shows, streaming, like the normal ways that you would think
Yep.
to make money as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of ways people don't think about too.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways, man. I mean, like with me, I got a lot of freelance work with editing podcasts and recording radio commercials.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, I mean it's kept me really busy throughout 2020. Engineers and audio people don't really consider those lanes, and there's so many different lanes that you can take that people just don't know about or don't pursue.
And that's a really good idea, like mixing podcasts for people and stuff too, because once you mix records, like mixing a podcast is not going to be very hard for you.
Yeah, it's pretty sick, man. The things that I've been able to do with that space. So yeah, you started your production entity, Buttercream Beats. I haven't even like talked to you face to face, I feel like, since you created that name. How did that name even come about? Because you were thinking about like all these different like alter egos that you could go by, called like Jasper Newton was one of them. I remember starting out.
I did go by Jasper Newton for a little while. That was like the guy who made Jack Daniels. Yep. And yeah, Buttercream Beats though, I just made one day. I was just trying to think of a producer name, and I was looking at candles, and then I kept finding candles that had a producer had already taken the name of that, and then Buttercream, I just liked how it rolled off the tongue. Buttercream Beats. I don't know, dude. I just liked it.
I know with my thing, like I always had a hard time branding emcee. So that's why Nice Guy Entertainment was such an easy thing for me to brand. And and I feel like Buttercream Beats is probably that for you, right?
Yeah, for sure. The logo is just a little cupcake.
Yep.
It's a fucking, I don't know, you can just, it's easy, honestly. Just get the colors, the logo. You can build around that.
That's dope. I love it, man. You've been doing huge shit, man. So what kind of setbacks has 2020 placed your way? I noticed you kept pretty busy, but was there anything that like really set you back when the pandemic hit?
I mean, yeah, for sure. Like not being able to network or like see anyone, do any shows, go to any shows. It's obviously a shitty time for anyone in the entertainment industry in general, but especially because I was really focused on production all of 2020, and I couldn't go to shows and find people to sell my beats to, so I had to get a lot better at online marketing and just being a better online presence, because that's the only way you can sell yourself now.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that was the biggest change and thing I had to adapt to this year, I feel like.
Absolutely. But I've noticed that you've stayed consistent with it, and you've been killing it on there, dude.
Thanks, bro.
How has the beat selling been going? Has that been going fairly well?
Every now and then I get a few sales. It's not like something I can be consistent with at this point. I mean, I feel like I have so many things going on too, and I don't really have time to just lock in on just that.
I feel that.
So it's just kind of like a side hustle at this point.
Yep.
And something I like doing.
What else you got going on creatively? What's the future looking like for Ty Davis and Bottle Kids?
We're actually working on some new stuff now. New Bottle Kids stuff. I just made a song like 2 days ago that I sent to Austin that he likes, so we're gonna do something with that. And I gave him a bunch of beats for Christmas on a little flash drive.
That's what's up.
So
I've noticed a lot more like almost ever since you guys got that placement, a lot of enthusiasm from you guys. Like I feel like, was that like a re energizing experience for you guys?
Yeah, for sure, dude. I think it's always good as an artist to receive some recognition or like some type of I mean, it's just like a lot of the time you're putting shit out and nobody's noticing it, or people will literally scroll by and because they don't want to like it, because then you might ask them about
Right.
it. It's like people don't want it to exist.
That was always my biggest hurdle with running Nice Guy Entertainment because you guys were all dope. I mean, like I loved your guys' music, but I never knew how to like find creative ways to be like, "Yo, listen to my dudes. They're freaking dope. They're really fucking talented." And I think that's a lot of uh the challenges we as indie artists face. You know, it's like standing out of the crowd and figuring out ways to not be annoying and not be spammy.
Yeah, for sure. Selling yourself to people who don't want
Right.
to buy it.
Yeah, exactly. I've been talking to a lot of people about uh unity and what the scene's going to look like after the pandemic. When we're able to like get back into shows. What's your take on it? What do you think it's going to be like after like once the pandemic settles down, whatever the new normal looks like?
I think it's gonna be a lot different for sure.
Mhm.
I'm hoping there's gonna be less gatekeeping and like people who think they're big fucking celebrities running the city and stuff like that. I hope it's just more, like you said, unity, people working together on shows and just bringing the city together and being happy that we have shows again. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, me too. And but you know like that's always been my thing since day one.
Mhm.
Like I've
Yeah,
always
absolutely.
been about unity. I've always been about working together, like collaborating with you or with 2JD, you know, and the numerous people that I've had involved with Nice Guy Entertainment has been one of my biggest joys. And collaboration is so underrated, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of people who just move that way anyways. Like the people enjoy collaborating with other people and they do it just to make better art and they enjoy the process. And then there's some people who think anytime I do a feature, I'm gonna need payment, and it's just, I mean, hopefully there's less of that.
I understand you know people need to get paid and stuff like that, but I've never understood paying or charging people for features when you haven't built up a name, you know, or a reputation. And I know that a lot of people like right out the gate charge people for features.
Yeah, and some of them sell features too, which is
Right.
interesting, but I don't know. I'd like to see how that works out for them in the long run, because it
Right.
seems like a short-term gain for like a long-term uh coming off like kind of an asshole.
Right. I'm all about like doing what's right for you. That's always been my thing. And that's why like when you guys wanted to do your own thing and not necessarily be part of Nice Guy Entertainment anymore, that's why I always still supported you guys cuz I've always been about, you know, do what's right for you. But yeah, I mean I do see a lot of arrogance from some people that are just like they think they don't think like you said, like they don't think long term, they think short term.
Right, it's more valuable to build and maintain these relationships with other people in the industry than it is to get a short-term quick check. That's how I see it, at
Yeah.
least.
No, I totally agree. We went through kind of everything that I wanted to talk about, but just on a personal level, how have you been? Like how you been feeling?
Pretty good, dude. I'm taking my real estate classes right now, so that's a whole thing for me.
When'd you start that?
Literally last week.
Oh, damn.
Um, yeah, I got laid off of my job, so I'm trying to get into real estate, and I just started collecting unemployment while I do my classes, and just kind of working on music, doing classes, being low key.
Word.
I mean, I needed this break just from like working hard, long hours, physical labor. Like I needed this period to regroup,
Yeah,
you know.
I think that was a huge thing about 2020. I which you know I kind of did too, man, because like I mean like I said like with 2016 when Josh left, and like I kind of like all 2016 I kind of didn't know what to do with NGE, and then me and Kelsey kind of picked it back up in 2017, and then when my mom got sick, that's when like everything kind of went to shit because I just like I had to help her out and I spent like a whole year and a half um, really focused on helping my mom get better. And, I kind of put music and everything to the side. I went back to school and I was like, still doing shows here and there and stuff. But really, that was like my number one priority. And then I got sick for like 4 months and that sucked. But then 2020 hit and, I no longer had access to IPR, which I had access to for years. And then I also didn't we couldn't book shows. So I was kind of left like, well, what the fuck do I do? And I was still running Nice Guy Entertainment the way that I always did, as like a collective, as a crew, and I still had like 10 people that were involved, and I had to do some long, hard soul searching, and I finally came to the conclusion. I'm like, well, I started it as my personal brand. I started it as like it was only me, so why don't I go back to that? Because it was just I noticed like with all the different just ways of like keeping it organized and all that stuff, I still want to help talent, and I still want to collaborate as much as I did, but I noticed that I was just finding a lot more stress from it than I was joy. And
Yeah.
at the same time, me and a couple dudes started Yeah Dude Samples, where we're doing sample packs for producers and all that stuff, and we're exploring that. And then I've had the idea to do this podcast for a minute. So with those two things and my freelance work, I've just been busy. I mean,
Yeah, I feel you, dude. I think you're doing a great job. What people don't tell us, or what we don't hear enough, is that it's okay to take a break, prioritize in your life. You don't have to be grinding on music all the time.
right.
Like, some people have this narrative that like, oh, I'm in the studio all night, I'm always working, like, but they probably have other shit in their life that's going into turmoil at the same time. You have to kind of prioritize, get everything in order, and then the music will come within that, you know what I mean?
Right.
And everything will work out if you're prioritizing and staying organized. Yeah, I think you're doing a good job, man.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that, man. Yeah, I mean, hearing that from you really means a lot, man, because you're somebody who I've always admired. I mean, since day one, like I told you, man. I mean, you are one of the most underrated, slept on fucking dudes that the Twin City has ever seen, man. I mean, to me, like you're in my top 10 in the cities, like as far as like MCs go, man. Like for real.
Hey, I appreciate that, bro.
And you've been on that list for me since like 2015. I mean, people don't know. And
Yeah, well, you gave me my start, so I wouldn't be here without you.
I appreciate that, man. Hell yeah. It's been nothing but love, man, on this end, man. Nothing but love.
Yeah, absolutely. Likewise.
Hell yeah, man. I can't even remember the last time we saw each other in person.
I don't know, bro. I haven't seen anyone for so
Yeah.
long.
I mean, I remember the last time I saw Austin, I met up with him at Jackson's. Yeah, I met him at Jackson's.
That's the spot.
Yeah, and before that, like I feel like I hadn't seen you. Was it the Arteries release party?
That's a long time ago. That was like
3 years ago.
Yeah, that was like when I first started dating Sarah.
Dayblock Brewery. That was the last time I saw you. That was 2019.
Who performed there?
That was Nerdy Landscapes.
Oh yeah,
2JD.
I remember that one.
That was a dope show. That was one of the better ones where like I felt like re-energized after it, but it was also a bummer because like my car lock was fucked up, and that night I walk out to my car, and like that whole day was just exhausting because I was like still.
Oh, wasn't that when you got some shit stolen out of your car? That's nuts.
I was taking care of my mom still, and I was going back to school, and so I was just like balancing all these different things. And I remember like being like stressed out before the show, and I threw my backpack like under the front seat, or like right in front of the front seat. And usually like I would put it in the trunk, and I just wasn't even thinking. And I park grab all my shit. I remember specifically like turning around and locking my door. Like I remember locking it, but I found out later that the locks were busted. Like I didn't even know about it. And yeah,
Damn.
I came out that night after the show, super tired, and I was driving back to my girlfriend's, and I it I get a notification in my dash that said door ajar, and I was like, what the fuck? I didn't really think too much of it, and I parked, grabbed my stuff, and I went to the front, the passenger, because I remembered that I put my backpack up there, and I opened the door and it's fucking gone. My backpack was just nowhere to be seen.
What a fucking nightmare.
It was a fucking nightmare, bro. Like everything that you can think of that you wouldn't want to get stolen was fucking in there. Like my
Of course.
my iPad that I had like given to my girlfriend that I was borrowing back from her, plus my laptop, plus my drive that I hadn't backed up in 6 months, and I didn't even have a proper backup of like my sample library. And you know how much like my sample library means to me. Like that's my fucking baby. So like the last time I had backed up my sample library was 2015. So
Damn.
and I literally like when my mom was sick, that is what I did with my time. Like I would organize and download samples. Like
Yeah.
that's like I spent like hours and hours and hours on that shit, and it was gone.
Yeah, any musician knows losing a hard drive that's not backed up is the worst shit that can happen.
Yeah, and I would like, and at that point, like that year especially, like I was on a musical fucking spree. Like I was back to like really producing artists, and I was like back on my own rap shit, and like I lost like sessions that like I still fucking wish that I had, and so that was a major fucking setback right there, man. That was ridiculous, man.
Yeah, dude, I've lost so many sessions and like files and shit over the years that I wish I had now, just from being like not organized.
Yeah, it really taught me, which I need to get a bigger hard drive now, but like I was on a weekly like backup, like every fucking week for a long time. Like I back up my shit religiously.
That's smart. That's the way to go, but it's
Yeah,
like it's hard to
it's hard.
maintain.
And especially when you have so many files that it takes like hours to back up anyway. And when you're like
Mm.
when you're always on the go and you're always in a hurry, some like I'm kicking myself because I haven't backed up my shit, and I just know that every time like I don't back up my shit, like something happens. So I'm like, I better fucking back it up this week.
And then it's time to make some new shit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I've always done. It's like I lose a bunch of shit. I have to make more.
Yep. That is what I did. Like I went even harder on my fucking sample library. So because my goal
Mhm.
is like I now like when I first started out, like when I first started NGE and stuff, I didn't care about being the best. I didn't care about like anything, but now like I'm at the point where I'm like I want to be one of the best producers. Like I want to walk into any fucking studio session with any fucking producer like out in LA and just have the fucking like the most sounds, like the quickest like cook up with, quickest collaborations, stuff like that. Like that's really like
Yeah,
I think without that,
turn some heads.
yeah, turn some heads. I think without my hard drive getting stolen, I wouldn't have that outlook. Like I got this whole new like hunger to like come back stronger after that, and especially like after all my setbacks and shit, I just have a whole different like hunger that just I wish was there the whole time.
Yeah, it's cool how stuff like that can happen though. Like
Yeah.
something that looks like you're down bad, and then you come back with this drive, because yeah, that's cool, man.
Not that I like didn't believe in myself before, but it's definitely a change from what it used to be. Like I used to like really like downplay my accomplishments and downplay what the things that I do and have done, and I'm not trying to do that anymore. Like I know my place. Like I know who I am at this point. Like I know what I want my legacy to be.
Fucking right, bro. Talk your shit.
Exactly, man. It's definitely something that's new for me, and I want to just keep that momentum going.
I like that energy.
Hell yeah.
I like it.
I want to keep growing, man, because I feel like for a good few years, I mean, like we talked about, like it was a lot of like setbacks and just things that I had to take care of, but I wasn't as concerned with progressing as I wish that I would have been. And now I just want to be better than I was last year. I don't want to be even if it means that like we're still on lockdown for a while, I still want to figure out ways that I can just keep this going.
Yeah, that's the mentality you have to have, dude, in any aspect of life. Just
Yep.
get better every day. What can I do? What can I wake up and do to make myself better than I was yesterday?
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
it. You take that to any part of your life, you'll be looking better at the end of the week, end of the month, end of the year.
With that being said, bro, we got to get on some collaborations, man.
Yeah, for sure. Whatever happened to that one beat that we did?
Oh, I still got it.
I just remembered because you said collabs.
Yeah, I still got it. I'll send it back to you.
That was pretty fire, dude.
Are you trying to do all the production on the new Bottle Kids, or are you
Mhm.
open to any collaborations on beats or anything?
But at this point, I just kind of want to produce everything on our albums or have Austin do it. Cause he's mentioned that he wants to learn production.
Oh, dope.
He's been super busy lately though, so
Yeah.
I'm not anticipating that will happen for anytime soon. But
Right.
I'm trying to do all the production just so that we have all the ownership in house.
Oh, for sure.
So
I
when
get
we
that.
do publishing and licensing and stuff, we don't have to dish out as much.
Right, that makes sense.
Ownership is what we're going for right now.
Yeah, last time I talked to Austin, he was like learning guitar and shit. Is he still doing that?
I remember that. I'm not really sure. He
Oh,
was
okay.
still playing a lot when I lived with him. He was doing his lessons and shit.
Oh, okay. Word.
I play guitar sometimes, but I'm terrible at it. Trying to teach myself.
That's dope. I've never really wanted to learn guitar. I want to learn I want to master the keys, and I want to learn
Mhm.
bass, and I want to learn drums. Those are like the three that I want to get decent at. For some reason, I just have I love guitar. Like when it's good, it's dope. But I've just never really had the desire to pick it up.
I feel like the drums are fucking hard because you have
Oh,
to be
yeah.
coordinated with your feet and your hands.
It's
and
super hard.
Keep rhythm. Even on the drum pads, it's hard to play more than one part
Oh,
at the
yeah.
same time.
I mean, as far as your production goes, you've been leveling up, bro. Like everything I've been hearing has just been crazy. And I think it's super dope that you want to take sole production rights for Bottle Kids. I think that's super smooth how you guys are doing that.
The way I see it is just better. Like if you can keep getting better at making beats and then you own everything. If you have to give 50 or 25% to a different producer for every song, that shit adds up.
Are you guys looking at like any more licensing stuff, or is it really just like it's really just like if your songs end up like in a playlist, right?
Yeah, we have a publishing company that pitches them. I don't really know how it works. I just have to upload a shit ton of files for every song, and then they take it from there.
Do you have to upload like all the stems and shit?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, word.
Stems, clean versions, instrumentals.
That makes sense. Wow. That's a lot of
Mhm.
work though.
Yeah, I just did that for our first album, Desolate Hiatus. I remastered it and got all those bounces, and it took like a whole week of just doing that.
People don't even like realize the process that goes into being a producer slash engineer.
Just bouncing files, dude, was like a whole day.
Straight
It's
up,
insane.
man. I mean, when you have to wear like so many hats when you're part of a group or like a label situation, it's tiring, man. But I mean, but when you get little wins like you guys got, it makes it all worth it, man.
And it's all about keeping your priorities in check, you know what I mean?
I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of your growth.
Proud of you too.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having me on here.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thank you for appearing on the episode, bro.
I hope y'all like my fucking messy room.
Love it, man.